We just love living out here in the country, and we love having beautiful trees like this oak tree on our property. But one of the problems with having trees and you want to mow around them, or in our case, cut hay around them, is you have these limbs that'll hit you in the face. They'll get wrapped up around your ROPS framing here. That one actually went in my mouth. Or they try to rip off your expensive canopy. And we've got an Artilian canopy on this tractor, but on our mowers, we actually have a cool top with a fan. So we don't want to damage them, and we just need a safe way to be able to get up a little higher and cut the limbs off of these trees. So if you saw that limb and thought, oh, that's not too tall, just reach up there with your chainsaw. We have already done that. Pretty much all the way around our 20-acre property, anything that we could get with a chainsaw from the ground, we've cut off. So I can definitely reach this limb, but I can't really reach up there where I have to cut the limb with the chainsaw in order to get these branches hanging down. And we've also found that is where we've trimmed it one year with the big branches, the lower branches actually start growing towards the ground and filling this space in. Now, one way to reach those limbs is to get in the tractor bucket and have your significant other drive the tractor and then go around with a chainsaw and get those higher limbs. But there's many things wrong with that. Number one, it's unsafe, so I am not recommending you do it, although I've done it in my youth before. And number two, it's not really good for your marriage, because no matter where you want the tractor bucket, your wife's gonna put it in a different position. So let's get this bucket off, because we gotta put on something different in order to use the new product we have that's gonna help us a lot with trimming those limbs. Now guys, I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and we are partnered with many companies out there, and one of them is VEVOR, and I was gonna buy this. It's not that expensive, but they said, we'll send you one if you'll demonstrate it, and I said, I'll do more than demonstrate it. We'll probably use this thing monthly out here for the next 10 years. So if you're not familiar with VEVOR, they make a lot of tools, they make a lot of products, and they're cheaper. They're kind of like Harbor Freight. So you're not going to spend, you know, if this was Craftsman or Snap-on tools or something like that, you'd probably pay $1,000 for this. VEVOR, just like their slogan says, tough tools at half price. And I've actually seen this in action before, and I know it's going to be perfect for us out here at Piney Grove. Let's get this thing unboxed and get it on here. It fits over the forks, and it is real simple to take on and off. Like I said, I've seen one in action, but I've never unboxed one before. So we'll see exactly what it takes and how quick we can get it in action, and then we'll use it. By now you've probably guessed what it is, and if you're watching this video or you own a tractor, you probably already have something like this, or you want something like this. And if you don't know how VEVOR works, they work with people that have YouTube channels, you know, social media content creators, and they provide them what's called a sample, and then we demonstrate it. And like I said, you're going to see this not just in this video, but in many videos whenever we're cleaning up around the property. And then they provide us a code, and that code gets you a discount on their product. So check out the code down below. It'll save you a little bit of money. I've got all the parts and pieces out here. You've got your main platform here. That's your front gate. I've got some casters and the brackets that allow your forks to go in it and lift it up. The instructions say to lift these up and attach them to each other. And once you've attached these, then you turn it on its side and finish the assembly. So we'll put this on here. That's latched in. We'll put the other gate in and turn it on its side. Looks like that needs some sort of pin. So here's the two pins here that hold on the gate that lets you get in and out of it. And this can be put on two ways, but you want to make sure your bracket or your latch here is at the top. And we'll put these pins in without the cotter key for now, but we will pin that up later. And then we'll slide this over, and that's the top part of the cage. To save yourself a little bit of trouble with the assembly, make sure that where you enter it, the front, which would be the front of the tractor, make sure that's on top, or at least you know where it is and you know which end or which side goes against the tractor. And the reason is that these forklift brackets have a little welded on hook to them. And these will go down so that you can use that hook to attach it to the forks on your tractor so this doesn't slide off. So the other two do not have these little hooks on them. So we'll grab one and put it here, and they have casters that go on these brackets. So the casters will go to the outer corner, and then they give you the wrench and the bolt. And the bolt that holds on this bracket actually is the longer of the two sets of bolts. Temp install this. Some of these nut plates will have paint in them, so the bolts won't go in easy at first. You just got to make sure you get them started straight, and then you can use the wrench, the little Allen key they gave you to spin them in. Now the instructions tell you to use the one with a bigger number. I think one's a M8-10 and one's a M8-16, but then they don't show you which one is which. So we're gonna use the long ones here that hold on the forklift bracket, because that's where more strength is needed, and the short ones will hold on the caster. And also I think that the reason I think that's correct is these have a rounded head, and that would be less likely to trip you than if you use the bolt-headed one. So I found the right size Allen key or wrench for those screws, but they're real soft metal, so if you're gonna use something like this, just use it to get them snug and tighten them the rest of the way by hand. The next step is to put the casters on, and one side has a caster lock and the other side doesn't. You can put them on any way you want, but you gotta think about how you're gonna use this once you're storing it. And I'm thinking that you want to be able to get to the front of it, so you'll probably put the locks here on the front, because that's where your feet will be when you're pushing it in a corner. But you'll notice these are on the outer edges of the forklift brackets. And now I see why they want the shorter screws here, and that's because the forks have to go in here, so you don't want an excess amount of screws sticking in here. And they got nut plates on the back side, so it's just a matter of lining the bolt up. And I'm going to just use a ratchet combination wrench here to tighten them, but you could also use a socket. The size is 14 millimeter. So this has been a fairly straightforward install, but these are the hardest screws to get in because the bracket flexes, the bracket for the forks flexes, and you've got to hold it just right. You can get one side easy, but then this side you got to hold it in, and then if there's any paint in the threads, the bolt doesn't want to start. But we've got them all started, and I'm going to use an impact, but like I said, you can only use it till you get that first click of torque, otherwise you'll strip the bolt out. But this is a one-time thing. You're going to put these in and get them tight and torqued, and then you're never going to mess with them again. It's all assembled except for that one thing in the beginning that we didn't do. Do you remember what it was? That's the way it rolls around. Remember, I put the lock here on the front because if I'm going to store anything in this, use it as a storage bin in between the uses of going around the property with the tractor and trimming limbs or anything else that I got to get elevation for, I can push this in the corner. I can lock those casters, and I've got a rolling cart as well. But we got to put in the cotter pins right here on the pins of the front gate, and then it's ready to go on the tractor. Looks like we got lucky. It'll fit right over the forks, nice and snug. This is an ideal tractor for this piece of equipment because this is a self-leveling loader, and once you get it level, it stays level as it goes up and down. But you remember those two little tangs or hooks or whatever you want to call them? They are what holds your forklift platform to your tractor. So you want to put this over a bar there somewhere and hook it on the other side. And I think that's a really good safety feature because if you've got an inexperienced tractor operator, they may dump you out if this wasn't holding the platform to the tractor. What we'll do is shorten this up. We'll figure out which link we can go in and then hook it up like that, so that way it can't go too far. So I'll show you what that safety chain does. It doesn't let this come off the loader. If that chain wasn't there, I could pull this right off, and if you had an inexperienced operator and they lower your forks like that by accident, it could easily happen, then it would dump you right off. But that safety chain, this ain't going nowhere. But if you've never seen how a self-leveling loader works, and I'll do a complete video on this and explain it more, but if you watch the basket, it always stays level. Well, if I get it level, no matter where I put it, up and down, it always stays level. And we have two tractors out here on Piney Grove. We have this tractor from Summit, and it's sponsored, so it's a loaner tractor to demonstrate it on the channel. And we own a Kubota L Series, an L3901, and that does not have a self-leveling loader. So if we're using this basket on the Kubota, as you raise it, you would have to adjust your forks backwards and forwards, or tilt down, tilt up. And that's where you'll get in trouble when you're using one of these baskets, is if the operator either hits the wrong side of the control and tilts you down, or if it has really fast hydraulics, and again, he hits the wrong side of the control and he can't stop it, or he panics. So this marries up real well with the self-leveling loader here on the Summit. You can see how fast you can make it go down. And again, that's all operator controlled. Ready, Deb?
I guess. I think the question is more, are you ready to trust me?
We'll see.
With raising you and this thing.
All right, let's get in here and latch it up. Make sure everything's latched. Make sure my chain's there.
Oh my. You
All right,
ready?
babe, let's go up.
Oh! Not high.
All right, come forward. You're good, come forward. That's good.
Okay, that's right. Really? He said he never felt safer even with me. What do you want me to do?
Put me down.
Put you down.
Put me down.
Hold on.
You're good. Self-leveling loader, man. I never felt out of balance at all.
That's cool though.
I've never had anything like this. I've always used a ladder, or I've been in the bucket of a tractor, and I just felt so safe up there cutting that limb. And we're going to do a few more here around the property. One, because they need to be done, and also to demonstrate this basket. Our link is down below, but get you one of these. The level of safety that it brings to the job is just, it's worth every penny. It's worth every penny. Everyone should have one of these if they've got to cut limbs.
I'm afraid I'll jostle him.
Now this is the one that was slapping me in the face in the beginning of the video. I mean, it's just so stable. I feel so safe. I can lean against it, no problem. If you're wondering what chainsaw I'm using the MS 150C. Nice light limbing saw. You can hold it out with one arm, and sometimes it stays running. Before I close out this video, I'd like to get Deb's opinion from, or the perspective from the seat of the tractor. And obviously, you've never used this before. And I think once or twice I've been in the bucket while you've been at the controls. But how did you feel with that in front of the tractor, as far as like my safety, your visibility, and all that?
I think I felt much safer with this. Like you said, we've done it where I've raised him in the tractor bucket before to reach something, and I don't like it because there's nothing around him. And sometimes I I move too quickly and it's not smooth. Well, it wasn't smooth, but I didn't worry about him falling out. So I like it. The visibility is great. You can see very well. It feels safe. It takes some adjustment just for me, but I think it's awesome. I feel much better about us trimming trees around this property with this than I did how we probably would have done it.
Right, and we can, you know, once we get used to it, you can just stay in the tractor and I can stay in the bucket and we can just go around the property and knock it out real quick.
Yep.
I give this product from VEVOR 2 thumbs up. Like I said, we got a link down below. It'll save you some money on it if you want to buy it from VEVOR. Just a great tool to have in your tool belt for property management. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. Until the next one, y'all stay safe out there. And remember, life's short.
Be kind.
And tractor hard.
Take care.
Take care, guys.